In this video, we're going to look at 2 of the 4 essential AI tools to be using in 2026. Let's get started. Before we do, always ensure that these tools align with your AI policy. Most organizations still don't even have one, but I think it's so fundamental in setting up a framework and a scaffolding that allows your staff and volunteers to know how and when they can use AI and how and when they should not be using AI. So please do take the time. There's many templates online. I've got some available at the AI Impact Hub as well that you can use as a framework, as a starting point. And this document needs to be a living document. This is not a policy that you create and file away and never review again. This technology is adapting and changing so quickly that you really want to ensure that it is alive, that you review it every couple of months, that you have discussions around it, bring people's inputs, get their feedback, and refine and tweak your policy as you go. So, highly recommend starting off with your AI policy before even looking at any of these AI tools that we're going to start looking at today. So the first category of these AI tools is going to be chatbots, and we've got a whole range of them. We've got ChatGPT, the very famous, hugely popular AI chatbot. We've got Claude, Gemini, and there's even multi-model chatbots which allow you to engage with these different models all in a single interface. And each one does have its pros and cons. We're going to look at a few of them as well as the different non-profit pricing that's available for each. Now, ChatGPT is by far, I think, the most feature-rich AI chatbot platform. There is so much we can do with it. I look at the progression that we've had over the last few years, and it's simply mind-blowing just seeing how much we can now do in one single interface. We obviously have the general chat mode where we can interact with the AI. We can ask questions. We can ask AI to ask us questions, which is one of my favorite and highly recommended techniques. We can ask it to do things like deep research, where it can actually go off and search through multiple websites, find information based on the query, and then synthesize it and present it to you in a report. We can create images, really good images, photorealistic. We've got a whole range of different styles now. Even when you click on image generation, it'll show you the different styles that we can create. Flower petals is quite cool. I haven't seen that. You can create whole images out of clouds. There is so much that you can do with this, both for internal and external uses. We have web search, where you need to now go to more to enable web search, but you can also simply just type in, please search the web to find this information, and it will do that. We've got the shopping research, which can be helpful if you're looking for pricing on a specific product or software solution that you need to buy. And we have agent mode, which I think is really underutilized. This is very helpful for a task that is often going to run in a loop. An example is I used it last week. I had to find email addresses for about 300 nonprofit organizations. It was in a spreadsheet. And so instead of manually Googling and trying to find these email addresses and then popping them back in that spreadsheet, I dropped them in chunks of 100. And I said, use agent mode, go out, search the web, find the email addresses, and present the data back to me in a table. It did an incredible job. It saved me hours of time, and I was able to work while that agent was running in the background, which is really double benefits there because I wasn't actually doing the task, but the task got done. There was a human review at the end, which I always recommend. It's called Keeping the Human in the Loop. Did check those results, but what was there was all accurate. In the more section, we have more things we've got. We've got study and learn, where if you're trying to learn about a specific topic, even about AI or ChatGPT, you enable this and it actually guides you through a process of learning about this product or these topics. A fantastic resource within here. Canvas allows you to generate little mini apps and or create like a Google Doc type environment where you can create edits to your document. You can bold, you can underline, you can even ask AI to change specific components in that. So if you have a drafting, a fundraising strategy or an email, enable canvas mode and you'll see you have this interactive mode where you can actually edit that document live within there. We then now have all of these apps as well where you can connect it to Canvas, Spotify, and Google Docs, Google Drive, all of these different types of apps that you may be using, Adobe Photoshop, lovable, really useful. And I think we're just going to see more and more of this where these apps all sit within this interface. We lastly have GPTs where you can create a custom assistant that can do a repeatable task. And one of my favorite features, projects, where you can actually create an ecosystem that holds documentation, custom instructions, and even memories just within that project. This is incredibly beneficial for any project that you're working on. It could be your organization as a whole. I highly recommend always starting with one project with your strategic plan and just start using it as a strategic advisor. You'll see how amazing the AI is actually referencing the content in your strategic plan to help guide you through different challenges and problems. So projects can be used for a whole range of things, and the combination of this is just incredible. For $20 a month, I've never seen a product that provides so much value and so much diversity in what it can provide, all leveraging this underlying intelligence. Let's jump over to Claude. Claude is similar but does lack some of those features that we saw in ChatGPT. Again, we have that chat functionality where it can engage with you, act as a specific type of persona, help with different tasks. And again, we've got the ability to add files or photos. I missed that in ChatGPT, but you can add an image and ask AI to actually analyze this image or reverse engineer what makes this image successful. I often do that with visual campaigns, and it's amazing seeing how the AI picks up different psychological and behavioral science frameworks that actually make that image impactful. You can also upload PDFs, and the AI can actually engage with this PDF. You can ask questions, it can bring out information, it can summarize reports. We've got take a screenshot where you can take a screenshot of a window that you're working on and upload it as that vision file. ChatGPT can do that also, but it's not as a function. We have projects as well. Love the projects in both ChatGPT and Claude. They work in a very similar way, but it's just this contextually aware ecosystem that holds documentation, chats, memories. Just makes it so easy to just jump back into that project, ask a question. The context is there. We've seen a big shift over the last few years from prompt engineering, which does still have value in a lot of situations, to what's now called context engineering, where we see the value of giving the AI the context of what we're working with, and it just allows it to help us in a much more efficient and effective way. We too can add files from Google Drive, even GitHub. So Anthropic Claude is very popular with coders and developers. We do have the deep research mode as well, web search, and different styles. This is just a customization feature in how the AI will respond or create your content, and the connectors, again, which are similar to Google Drive and Gmail and Calendar. So very similar. We do have some very powerful models. Opus 4.5 is one of the top models, and Sonnet 4.5 is a very, very powerful everyday model. Lots of people do tend to prefer Claude for the content generation outputs, writing some type of articles, emails, etc. It does seem to have a bit more of a natural type style, but you can tweak any of these AI models to write in your style with specific frameworks and examples. Now jumping over to Gemini, and Gemini does not have projects. I would love Gemini to have projects. I think it's one of the biggest features missing in Gemini. It is a very powerful model. We've got Gemini 3, Fast, Thinking, and Pro. And again, with these models, we've seen a progression over the last few years where we started with these chat models. We now have these reasoning models, which take more time, more compute, but will actually think through a task and a problem longer and provide you with a better output for specific situations. strategy is a very good one, where you want to kind of take more time. You want the AI to just not output something quickly. You really want it to think through this. And that's a really great time to use this thinking or pro models. Some of the platforms like ChatGPT now have a router where, depending on the question that you ask, it will then automatically pick which model it thinks is best suited for that task. So we don't have projects in here. We do have some other different tools though. We've got deep research. We've got the ability to create videos, which are really good in Google Gemini. We have VO3, the video generation model. They can actually have sounds as well as video. So we can have humans speaking. You can even have animals speaking if you'd like. It's quite cute and very, very useful for internal tasks. I think we are seeing some organizations create videos and use them externally, but it does take a bit more work. You need to take these video files and edit them, and there's a bit more involved in creating that consistency around characters and continuity. Create images. I love this. We've got this little banana icon here, and this represents Nano Banana Pro, the top image generation model available at the moment. So good with so many things, including text. We've just seen so many more infographics become available over the last couple of months because of Nano Banana Pro. And I actually heard the story of how Nano Banana got its name. It was one of the developers late at night. They were about to push this product, and they were publishing it to a platform where people could test it but don't know actually what it is or who created it. It's like a bit anonymous. And so they make up funny names for it. And this developer had a similar nickname and something about bananas. And so I think she suggested, what about Nano Banana? And it's just completely stuck, which I just love. I think it's so fantastic. And just a really good model. You can use this in combination with other things as well, such as uploading a file or web search and actually saying, well, based on the research that you find, create me a one-pager infographic that I can then share with my team with the top takeaways. You can connect it to your Google Drive and do that similarly with the drive files that you've got in there. And again, one I was playing around with last week was just using your strategic plan and creating a nice one-pager that could be used to show volunteers or staff a quick onboarding, or even use for funders. So a very useful tool. We also have Canvas, similar to the Canvas mode we saw in ChatGPT. And I should mention as well, Claude does have what's called artifacts. Don't really see where it is as a function here. You can just say output this in an artifact, or it can automatically do it, and you will get some of that benefit as well. And we have guided learning. So guided learning will create that similar experience to ChatGPT, where it will guide you through a learning process on a specific topic. In Gemini, we do also have gems. So gems are the equivalent to custom GPTs in ChatGPT, where we can ask it to create an assistant that's going to complete a specific task. And this is where prompt engineering is very important. We want to use features such as raw markdown, we want sections, we want personas, we want very clear instructions and examples, because this clearly defines to the AI what we want it to do and how we want it done. This ensures consistency and continuity when we use it again and again. And this is never a once-off process. This is an iterative process where we will test this, refine it, tweak it again and again. But the goal is to build out an army of these assistants that you can call upon for different situations. One example could be one to help you with meeting transcripts. You may have internal meetings and you want the summary to be provided in a specific format. Key takeaways, action items for specific people. You can create a custom GPT or a gem that actually follows those specific set instructions, an outline format, as well as examples. And then every time you have a meeting, you can just dump that transcript into this gem or custom GPT and get a really nice output exactly how you would like. Again, just saving so much time. So all three of these are going to provide you with a lot of value. There is some functionality difference, as we've seen, between them, but I think the most important thing is just to get started with one. You can always expand and use the other ones for free and figure out which one you prefer over time, but just get started is always my best advice. I'm just going to show you one last one, a multi-model one, which is one of my favorite tools. It's called Sim Theory, and it has similar features in terms of creating assistants like the custom GPTs or the gems, but we can actually switch and swap between models even within a single chat. And I just love this feature because I'm often testing out different models and trying them out and trying to see where is one model going to be better than another. So this is something that I enjoy. I don't recommend this for anyone who's just getting started out. Simply start with one model, get a feel for it, get comfortable with how to use it and when to use it. And then, start looking at some type of tool like Sim Theory a little bit later on if you're more interested in trying out these different tools. One last feature I forgot to mention with all of them is that you will see that we have a dictate function, allows you to annotate what you are trying to say. We don't have that in Claude, unfortunately, but we do have that in Gemini as well. If I go back to a new chat, we've got this dictate function. You can simply speak and it'll be transcribed and presented as text. And ChatGPT also has a fully interactive voice mode where you can speak to the AI and AI will speak back to you. If you're a person that enjoys taking walks or you've got long drives and you still want to work through a problem, think and ideate, this voice mode, especially downloaded on your mobile app, is very, very helpful because you can just continue these conversations and then you'll actually have a text-based version of it sitting in ChatGPT when you get back to your desk that you can continue working with. All right, so let's look at the different non-profit options that these platforms do provide. ChatGPT, or OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, offers a 25% discount on ChatGPT for larger organizations, okay? But we do see a 20% off monthly or annual plans on the business plan. So you do need at least 2 seats on that, and you will get a 20% discount. So that is quite nice. Anthropic Claude also just released their non-profit plans not that long ago. It was only a couple of months ago that this has come out, and we are seeing where are we going to get to this pricing here, of $8 per user per month, but we do have a minimum of 5 seats per organization. And this does also come with some limitations. The last time I checked, we did not get access to Anthropic's Opus 4.5, which is the most highest tiered model. So it did come with limitations in terms of having access to the full feature set. But to give a broad access to staff and volunteers, this is also a very good introductory offer, especially at the price point of $8 per user per month, because ChatGPT is looking at about $20 per user per month. But again, ChatGPT, you can have 2 users versus Claude, you need to have at least 5 users for this. You can also get enterprise discounted pricing for larger nonprofits, where you will get more usage, more of the models, and some more advanced functionality for obviously a higher price that will be custom provided from Anthropic. And then we come to Google, which really blows the rest out of the water. So if you are on the Google Workspace, I highly recommend checking out this offer from Google. So Google offers the Workspace for nonprofits for free. So you may already have Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Sheets, all available for free. And as part of that, you do have access to Google Gemini, but it actually is very limited and confined in terms of what you can do. And we'll look at that in a second. But they do offer the business standard plan to nonprofits with a 75% discount. So you can get it for $3.50 per user per month if paid annually, which I just think is incredible value. I highly recommend any nonprofit on Google Workspace to really look at this offer, because you're getting so much value for such a low entry price point. Now, there is, again, something to consider here, and that is that you cannot upgrade some users and not others. So I know a lot of organizations will set up alias email addresses or additional users, technically an alias email address sits within a user, but they will set up multiple user accounts for things like donations at, or info at, or hello at, all of these different email addresses. And each one of those users would be billed. You need to upgrade your whole workspace simultaneously. You cannot only select specific users. So if you do a cleanup and you find that it is going to be of value, highly recommend checking this out. Now let's look at why the $3.50 per month is so much better value. So firstly, we've got all of this functionality, but we do have with Google Meet that the meetings are recorded and saved to Google Drive with that plan. So this removes the need to get an independent meeting recorder. And you can use this both, again, for internal or external. With external, obviously seek permission before using it, but that it gives you then that transcript that you can use in AI to get action items and summaries. Google Drive is similar, except we are now shifting from 100 terabytes shared across all users to 2 terabytes per user. That's still a substantial amount of storage, and I haven't seen anyone have too much problems with that. Let's scroll down again, and I was trying to find the... Okay, sorry, I had to find another page to find those details. But there's a few things here which we are going to see a difference between the business starter, which is available for free to nonprofits, and the business standard, which is that discounted $3.50 per user per month when paid annually. And we can see the first is that Gemini is available to users in a lot more of the apps. You can have actually Gemini within Google Docs, within Google Sheets, within Slides, within Drive. And so we're bringing this intelligence into the tools that your team is already using. Convenience often trumps anything when we are looking at these tools, because the need to not copy and paste something to another tool and then work with it there and then copy and bring it back makes a big difference in people's workflows. And so having this AI already integrated in the tools people are already using will often increase adoption and use cases, because it's just there and people are more likely to use it. Then if we look at the Gemini app as a standalone, we are seeing that we get expanded access. These documentation change over time, so we're not seeing exactly what that is at the moment, but previously you got rate limited in terms of how much time you can use with the top tier models, as well as actually how much information or content you can give to them. So we are getting expanded access to Gemini with that as well. And then one of my favorites is expanded access to Notebook LM, one of the most amazing tools that we'll be looking at in the next video. So you're able to upload more sources, you're able to leverage it more and use more of the interactive audios and other functionality. So for $3.50 per user per month, I think this is really worth checking out, especially if you are on this Google Workspace. Or you can always set up a Google Workspace specifically for this, just to be able to leverage these AI functionalities. So that gives us a bit of a wrap up of our AI tools. Obviously, each one we can go into so much more depth for, but I'm just trying to give you a bit of an overview of each and why the chatbot, the kind of like defined chatbot AI tool, is the first recommendation for essential AI tools for 2026. It is just a diverse range of features that it provides. It can provide so much value in so many different ways. The price point is available for nonprofits with discounts, and it's just about finding one to start with. You can always switch and change over time, but the most important thing is to just get started, start using it, testing it out, getting a feel for it, because the more you use it, the more fluent you will become. So let's now have a look at our next category of tools, which is voice transcription. These tools really developed a lot more last year, which now enables us to not need to type out our words. We can actually speak into a microphone and have that dictated and changed into text. Now, if you've ever used any of the voice-to-text features on computers or Macs over the last few years, you're probably already a bit skeptical, thinking to yourself, that did not work well. Well, this is very different. Now we have AI transcription, so AI can actually hear your voice and transcribe that into words. And we have AI advanced functionality as well, where AI can actually clean up that text, can take out all the ums and ahs. It can format it specifically for different content. If you're sending it as an email versus a Slack message versus an iMessage, these can all be formatted slightly differently. So there's a few tools that I recommend, and I'll look at them now. The first is WhisperFlow. So if you are on Windows, this is probably your best go-to tool. It is also available for Mac, and I just love this little annotation down here where it shows you that speaking is 4 times faster than typing. Unless you're a speed typer and you enjoy typing, and I still type obviously, but a lot more of the time now I'm actually just dictating and getting that information out, and I will use this both in the AI tools and separately. And we see that these tools now have much more advanced functionality as well. We are removing filler words with this AI auto edit. We also have the ability to add custom words that you may be regularly using, and that can actually be added to the AI's memory. You've got little snippets, and we are getting different tones for different apps. It is also available in hundreds of different languages, and if you download WhisperFlow, you can even use it on your iPhone as well. So very, very feature rich, lots of functionality, and lots of time saved using this. Now, if you are on Mac, my preferred tool is MacWhisper. This comes at €64 per user, but there is again a non-profit discount. And sorry, just going back to WhisperFlow, there is a non-profit discount as well. I think it's 20% off. If you scroll down here, we've got Flow for non-profits. You can get Flow for just $8 per month for non-profits, which is very affordable. MacWhisper also has their non-profit plan, but this is only available for Macs. And it is a little bit more advanced, but I really enjoy that more advanced functionality. In particular, the ability to run local models. So you can run this completely offline. You can have your computer not connected to the web and use this. You can also enable the web-based AI models to assist in transcribing and cleaning up the data. But my favorite feature is prompts. So we're able to define different prompts for different tasks that we're doing. So it can again be emails or Slack messages. And within that, I can provide a full comprehensive AI prompt around who I am, the type of work I do, the style, my writing format, the output format for the specific medium. And so depending on what platform I'm in, or even which type of email I'm replying to, we can actually format that very, very quickly and easily based on this prompt library. So that's one of my most favorite features. You also have the ability to actually drop in files and have that transcribed. There is a meeting recorder app built into this as well. So it is very diverse, the functionality that it can actually provide. Again, hundreds of different languages, and you'll see here just so much functionality for such an amazing price. Got great reviews. SuperWhisper is another tool that's available both now for Windows and Mac. They've just released their Windows version, and this is very popular with developers or coders, especially over the last few years. But because of the Windows version, I'm highlighting that because I know a lot of Windows users don't get to access some of these other Mac features. So very similar to WhisperFlow, we've got a whole range of different AI tools that you can use, the refinement, the customization based on the different apps. And yeah, you can see here, this is Claude Code, and this is one of their use cases for developers and coders to actually speak into Claude Code instead of needing to type. Also got an iOS web app, iPhone app, which is cool, and nice pricing as well, including a lifetime deal if you're interested. And they do an offer for non-profits, but I think you need to email them directly for that. And then lastly is another interesting one called Monologue, only available for Mac. And this is through Every. So you may have heard of Every, the publication. They write a lot of great articles on AI. And actually over the last couple of years, they've started creating AI tools to help people work with AI. And this is one of their newest AI tools. It's a dictation app. Similar to the other ones that we've seen, it can also run offline. One of the cool functions about this is that it will actually take a screenshot of the workspace that you're in when you are doing your annotation. And it will use that as context for the AI in terms of how to format the response. So if you're in Gmail, it'll take a little screenshot so it can identify, okay, you're in emails, and it will use that to format your output in that way. It can run, they have advanced security and functionality, so you can check that out. But obviously, with any of these functions, there is that risk about, screenshots, confidential information being captured. And again, this is why it's so important to refer back to your AI policy and ensure that it does align with that. And that's about it. This is a wrap of the part 1 of our first, AI essential tools for 2026. Next video, we'll look at the next 2 tools, but I'd love to hear from you. Is there anything that you love? Is there anything that you think that I missed? And what is your favorite AI tool for 2026? Feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing